Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the 12 Drams of Christmas here on Drums and Drams. My name's Cameron and today is day 4 in this brand new series here on the channel. We're not gonna start with any music in this video, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you haven't watched any of these videos so far, go back to day 1, check that out, and then work your way back up to this day 4 video. But we're not starting with any music because I'm a little bit behind as far as recording and editing goes. I wanna get these things batched and filmed and kind of ready to go, so we'll bring the music back a couple days from now. But today I want you guys to know that I'm listening to your feedback. A lot of you didn't like the Christmas tree skirt around the neck. You didn't like that look, so we went with something a little bit more experimental today. We'll see what you think of it. We got the dual ornaments, all right? And the left one is, hanging a little bit lower here. But again, if you're unfamiliar with the series, blind tastings, make a few guesses. You guys are gonna know before I do. I'll do the big reveal at the end, and you're gonna get a fully honest perspective on whatever whiskey I choose out of this box today. So let's see which sample we're gonna be taking a look at in today's video. I'm gonna lose the box here. So today I've got mystery sample 23 from Jesse. So let's get this poured out now. It's a pretty light color for this whiskey. That might mean that it's some sort of world whiskey, Irish, Scotch, Japanese, could be a lot of different things. Jesse has a pretty crazy collection of, kind of wild and wacky whiskeys, and he's very, very tricky with these samples. So Jesse, here we go. Fourth dram of Christmas for this episode. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, and as the color would suggest, this is definitely some sort of, malt whiskey. Could be like a single malt, could be a blend, a grain whiskey, but it's definitely not coming from the United States, I'll say that. It's jumping out of the glass with like some very distinct salinity, sea air, kind of a coastal influence, little waxiness maybe as well. Yeah, waxiness, sea air, like some sort of like tangerine, almost like citrus notes that are very lively, very vibrant, but there's also a layer of sort of, like vanilla oakiness on the top of this as well. Doesn't feel particularly old, but it also doesn't feel, it doesn't feel like a starter Scotch necessarily, but I would pin this down right now as being a Scotch and maybe not an Irish. I think the palate might change my mind on that. But with that said, let's go to the palate. We'll revisit the nose, dig in a little bit deeper, but I'm curious to see what this tastes like. Cheers. All right, and this has a little more kick to it than I would have expected based on the nose. Now, this is my first sip of whiskey for the day, so my face is gonna turn red, my eyes are gonna water a little bit probably, but I have to imagine this is a cask strength Scotch. And when you start thinking about cask strength Scotches, automatically my mind goes to maybe an independent bottling of something. And so I'm trying to rack my brain right now and think about what this could be. I don't pick up a lot of sherry influence. If there is any sherry in here, it's probably more like, third fill, fourth fill, something with a cask that's been used a few different times. But there is a little bit of a golden raisin and a teeny bit of this almond nuttiness, so maybe there is some sherry influence. This is gonna be a tricky one. This, definitely a tricky one. I think the age on this is not very old. I mean, I'm in like 10 to 13 year territory, I think. Let me go back to the nose very quickly. Yeah, I'm gonna say that this is probably a single, let's go crazy here on the guesses because at this point I have no expectations of getting this right. I'm gonna go with a single cask. It's a refill sherry butt or hogshead. Let's go with a sherry butt or a sherry hogshead. I'm gonna say that it's Oloroso sherry. I think the proof on this is gonna be the tricky part. Let me do one more sip. Proof feels pretty high. I'm gonna go with 59.5%. Let's get weird. 119 proof. And I think this is probably, let's go with Highland Scotch. I don't detect any noticeable smoke, noticeable peat or anything like that. So I need to narrow down one more thing, which is the age. I'm gonna shoot in the middle here. I'm gonna say it's a 12-year Scotch. So with all that said, let's do this review. I think this is a really fine whiskey. I think it's great. Gives you that kind of full-bodied experience that you want from a cask strength Scotch. It's a little overly spicy for me. I think a little water might tame this down and bring it into focus. But all in all, I think it's a very solid pour. Nothing wrong with it by any means. So I gotta find Jesse's reveal card. All right, so sample 23, I've got the reveal card. Let's see what it is. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is a little bit older than I thought. Actually, quite a bit older than I thought. But with Scotch, the age can be masked very well. Also, depending on what cask it was aged in, like if it's a refill cask, then it might not come off as oaky. And in this case, given the color, I have to imagine this is a refill cask. I could clear that up with Jesse if he knows. But this is a Signatory, which is an independent bottler, so I was right on that. It's a 1991 Ben Nevis, so it's 25 years old. And I was way off on age again because of that, trying to figure out how oaky this actually is. Proof, fairly close. I said 59.5, it's 58.4. So I'm literally 1.1% away on the proof, and it is 100% sherry cask matured. So I got that right as well. So I'm actually like way closer than I would have imagined on this whiskey. I'm gonna do one more sip here. All right, and on this last sip, I can detect more of an aged component here. Like there's some sort of like aromatic spice notes, like allspice notes that play along with the oakiness in this whiskey. And I again think that if you put a few drops of water, it's probably gonna unlock, a little bit more from this and offer some more sweetness and a little more balance on the proof. But listen, a 25-year fully sherry cask matured, cask strength Ben Nevis, that's a pretty cool whiskey. And so I gotta say thank you, Jesse, for sharing this. So for day 4 of the 12 Drams of Christmas, Jesse gave to me 4 barrels chosen, 3-hour live streams, 2 laser codes, and a short guy in a black tee, this time with my 2 ornaments. And he also gave me a 25-year Ben Nevis. So thank you and cheers. I'll see you guys soon here on Drums and Drams.